As CEOs and conscious leaders, it's imperative that we find ways to enhance our awareness and practice applying that greater awareness to all areas of our leadership. In this video, we'll look at an essential safeguards for CEOs that supports our being highly effective conscious leaders: good bullshit detectors. And while high-quality bullshit detectors are not always easy to find, they can be worth their weight in gold in the long run. Let's see how. There are times when we're stubbornly blind to what's going on within us and around us, and that often requires some stronger medicine, a highly qualified, empowered bullshit detector. Having a caring, clear, gentle yet firm bullshit detector is one of the best remedies for unconscious leadership, and to help get us back on track as being conscious, aware CEOs. In my world, my beloved late wife was my treasured bullshit detector. Not only did she master the art of that role, but she also totally saved my butt on more than a few occasions. A bullshit detector is a person whose judgment we trust and respect, and one who's able to listen neutrally, free of agenda, able to grasp the complexities of situations without getting lost in them, able to spot when we're not seeing important aspects of a situation, and able to gently, firmly, and clearly reflect what they're noticing, and more. A bullshit detector only works if we, as conscious leaders, are able, willing, and earnestly wanting to listen to evolve. And the reason I mention that our detector needs the capacity to be gentle, yet clear and firm in their delivery, is to minimize the odds that we'll feel attacked and want to protect ourselves. That impairs our capacity to hear. But that said, we need to be committed to hearing what they have to say, regardless of how uncomfortable or confronting to our egos the feedback may be. It doesn't work if we allow ourselves to get triggered into a reactive or defensive stance. When that happens, our capacity to hear what's being reflected becomes severely compromised, and worse, if we throw what our treasured bullshit detector has reflected back in their face with an edge, it can poison the relationship. We need them to be fully empowered to speak freely. That's where the magic and the benefit reside. And to pull this off effectively, we have to place a sky-high value on our commitment to truth. Not our truth or their truth. It's not personal, but to being in truth, in reality, to not fooling ourselves. We need to be committed to caring more about what's real in what's going on than protecting that tender, fragile part of ourselves that has a hard time not being seen as perfect or great or wise or kind, whatever our personal vulnerabilities are. We must also be willing to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. This definitely takes some inner weightlifting to achieve, but having worked on this with CEOs for many years, I know we're all capable of rising to the occasion. But what might this look like? I was hired by the board of a Swiss manufacturing company to coach their new CEO. 𝗕𝗲 was doing well and moving the company's core initiative forward, and the initiative launched with great success. 𝗕𝗲 enjoyed basking in the spotlight in front of his board of directors, but in the weeks following the launch, team morale was noticeably low, and one key employee resigned. The project was having difficulty gaining traction, and 𝗕𝗲 began to feel heat from the board. The heat drove him to inquire what the problem was with the team. Notice, he was looking for what the problem was with the team. Only one team member was willing to step forward, and the team member asked for permission to speak freely. The team member said it felt like 𝗕𝗲 was primarily about his own success and that he paid little attention to the team's needs, hence the low morale. This was the CEO's wake-up call, and it didn't come from the board, it came from someone willing to risk reflecting what he perceived to be the problem. 𝗕𝗲 initially rejected the feedback, but it bothered him enough to bring it up at our next session. We worked on him becoming more self-aware and more sensitive to the needs of his team, and he began to see the degree to which he was treating his employees as tools to get his need met. With that, he started to put the pieces of the puzzle together about why the team was underperforming, and he said he forgot the leadership tenet that if you want your plants to grow and produce flowers, you must water them. So he did, and he turned things around. The project succeeded, and the employee who dared to tell the truth was raised to a higher position. And while they didn't call the position head bullshit detector, it was definitely in the unwritten part of the job description. Our bullshit detectors can support us by helping to illuminate where they perceive us to be out of alignment. It doesn't mean they'll always be right, but each and every time, they'll be giving us an opportunity to reflect and assess for the good of all. And yes, hearing what our bullshit detectors have to say can at times be really irritating. But it's generally because they're right, and what they're reflecting is rubbing up against a raw, unhealed, unevolved aspect of our persona. That kind of stuff is alive in all of us, and it's part of what we're healing as we evolve as conscious leaders, as human beings. So gently said, suck it up, take it in, earnestly assess if there's truth in the reflection, and if there is, clean up the mess. This is how we evolve. If our intent and commitment is to be in truth about what's going on within us, then we stand an excellent chance of ensuring that our words, choices, and actions are all aligned with our values and rooted in integrity. And the more we practice this, the more aware we become, the more completely and clearly we'll perceive our situations, the less we'll engage in fooling ourselves, and the more wisely and effectively we'll lead. Each time we rise to the occasion of being in integrity and living in full alignment with our highest values, we take a step toward the freedom to actualize the very best of ourselves, not only as conscious leaders, but in all areas of our lives. So here's to each of us finding our precious bullshit detectors and honoring them for their immense service to us, and thus their service to all those around us. There's more content on the 𝗕𝗲𝘁𝗿𝗋.com website, as well as info on how we can connect. I'll leave that link down below so you can check it out. Here's to leading wisely.